Ciao ragazzi e bentornati con Dimilito82 per un altro gameplay di gioco Caccia ai trofei. Riprendiamo dove ho lasciato ieri sera a Agatha Christie ABC Murders. Perfetto.
The telephone in the hall is ringing.
Dicevamo, questo c'è, questo è fatto, questo l'ho fatto, il comodino l'ho fatto, lei ci ho parlato, quindi direi che è a posto.
Hello?
Poirot, is that you? Hastings here.
Thank you for calling. Have you received a new letter from the murderer?
No, thank goodness. How are things in Churston?
I question Lady Clark, but I will not leave until I have examined everything of interest to me here. Fortunately, Franklin is absent, and I have a skeleton key.
Have you seen Thora Grey again?
Briefly. But rest assured, I intend to summon her to London soon.
She's a fascinating girl.
But secretive. I would like to ask her a few questions.
Poirot, she wouldn't hurt a fly.
Each to his own, my friend. Yours are pretty often among old ladies that have the maladies.
Poirot, are you mocking me?
No ill intended, rest assured. À bientôt, mon ami. Sir Carmichael's collection could rival that of a major museum. The door is locked. I see some papers that were not there the first time I visited. These daggers are only ceremonial weapons. I do not think that a crime weapon is here. Valuers report property. Building land located in Comside, Churston client, Sir Carmichael Clark, April 15, 1935, Court and Brunskill office. Court and Brunskill. The name is familiar. Is that not the name of the firm Donald Fraser works for? Ernest Logan, MD, Brighton Cancer Institute, 201 Dusk Road, Brighton, Sussex. To Sir Carmichael Clark, MD, Comside, Churston, Devon. Brighton, 1935, January the 5th. As a man of science, I owe it to you to be completely frank. Lady Clark, your wife is suffering from a generalized terminal cancer. I estimate that Lady Clark's life expectancy a dark dragon for a bright-haired maid. See. I've already seen similar daggers. Attention, Franklin. Task list. A. Ordering Lady Clark remedies. Done. B. Tidying up real estate property files. Done. C. Calling the lawyer about inventory. Done. D. Update the tenant-farmer list. Done. E. Update land rent accounting. Done. F. Ordering a restock of arsenic. Done. P.S. I have left on the living room table some of my things I don't want to keep. The locket and the dagger. I am sure you know why. Thora. Compass. Point to... There are some very valuable objects here. Comside's the catalogue for Sir Carmichael Clark's collection.
Allora.
Traditional Chinese map. Facsimile. South is on the top of the map. This unit contains the medical records for Sir Carmichael Clark's patients. Let us study them closely and see if there are any familiar names. No deaths on the records from A to D. They've been handled recently. No known names. Disappointing. Lots of dust. The records from E to Z have not been touched for years. No known names. Disappointing. How am I going to open this trunk? Let us examine it. That does not appear to be very useful.
Uno, 9, 2, 7.
Leaving the code on the trunk. What a strange character Franklin is.
Sette. E 31. 28. Venti.
So, what is this sound? I should be able to open the trunk now. There we are. Whiskey and other good quality drinks. Mr. Clark really has refined tastes. Whiskey and other good quality. Why has Franklin put an Allen key inside his trunk? I'll borrow it for a minute. A pile of books, including one about dragons. Nothing interesting. An Allen key. It can be used in 5 positions. An Allen key.
È rotondo.
An Allen key. Another screw. This engraving is not very easy to understand. I need to sort it out. It is blocked. It is blocked. It is blocked. It is blocked. I examine the... Franklin must really love his country to have an engraving in his trunk. I think I heard the panel above release. A signet ring? A signet ring with a code written on it. 1587. It may be useful to me. 4 Chinese symbols are engraved on this padlock. A signet ring bearing the Clark's family's coat of arms. A number is written on it.
1587.
Well, well. The characters engraved on this disc resemble those engraved on the padlock. Like this character appears to be the right way round. Like this. That's it. This character. That's it. This character appears to be the right way round. Very good. All the circles are facing the right way. What are they showing me? So
Aspetta.
no, it's not the right code. Let us check the Chinese characters again.
Allora, rifacciamo. Che coglione. Questo giù con la cosa cicciottella. Che mi sembra che è giusto. Sì. Vignetta e cosa. Ok. Poi questo. Eccolo lì. Questo qua. Poi c'è questo. Che cose, due cicciottelli. E c'è. E poi quest'ultimo. Barra e così in giù. Che non apre. Forse sono di invertire questi due. Quello così e quello qualcosa cicciotto qua. E che cacchio.
Like this
Scusa, questo qua è a sinistra, no? Oh, aspetta, però cinesi si legge al contrario. Aspetta. Ma io li ho inseriti come sono quelle, scusa. Uno. Cosa questo brutto qualcosa cicciottello che è lì. 2 è il coso con le antennine. E questo qui è l'ultimo. Che non va. E l'inverto un'altra volta. Se inverto anche questi due. Sì.
No, it's not the...
Mi percula, già lo so.
No, it's not the right code. Let us check.
Ma mi stai prendendo in giro. Stanghette cose in giù. Stanghette cose in giù. 2 con 1. Ho detto l'unico a invertire saranno questi due. Ma pure questi due.
No, it's not the right code. Let us check the Chinese characters again. At last, the cupboard is open. Genteel and wild, English countryside revisited. The Railway Children, E. Nesbit. For Franklin, Und Heffy's Christmas, 1910. Traveling in China, a practical guide for English travelers. Helmet, flask, and rifles. Franklin is very well equipped. Franklin appears to be very active. Franklin Clark appears to be a typical British gentleman, a good sportsman, a hunter, a traveller. February 1922, South Africa. July 1920, Alaska Peninsula. Alaska. Alaska.
Mm-hmm.
South Africa.
Mm-hmm.
Sumatra. I think the signet ring should be placed here. The plates around the picture appear to have unlocked. I think I've already seen these symbols on Franklin's trophies. The Lion of Sumatra. The African kudu. The Alaskan Kodiak bear. I heard the sound of a mechanism. Strange way of protecting one's safe. Triangulating one's hunting sites on a map.
Uno, 5, 8, 7. 1, 5, 8, 7.
These documents are very likely going to help me for the rest of the inquiry. A dozen gold sovereigns. Some shares for the Southern Railway and some treasury bills. This is not worth much, hardly enough to justify your robbery. Eton College School year 1912-1913. Franklin Clark. School report for Franklin Clark. According to his teachers, Franklin was a good student, but lacked discipline. Sir Carmichael Clark, Campsite Churchton, Devon, to Mr. Franklin Clark, Peninsula Hotel, Salisbury Road, Tsim Sha Tsui, Kowloon, Hong Kong. Campsite, 1935, January the 12th. Dear Franklin, first, I wish you a good start to a successful new year. I have received your letter dated December 10th. Thanks for defending my interest against Wang, this robber. Things could have got pretty bad if you weren't a real cold-blooded guy. I envy you for that. Things go on here much as usual. Charlotte is moderately free from pain. I wish one could say more. You may remember Thora Gray. She is a dear girl and a greater comfort to me that I can tell you. I should not have known what to do through this bad time but for her. She has an exquisite taste and shares my passion for Chinese art. No daughter could be a closer or more sympathetic companion. Life has been difficult, but I am glad to feel that here she has a home and true affection. You wrote me you want to stay in China for 1 more year or even longer. I don't object. The longer you stay, the more opportunities you will have to increase our collection. Nonetheless, you should know that we miss you here, and that Charlotte will be gone by the time you come back. I am, dear Franklin, your truly affectionate brother. Charlotte Clark, Campsite Churchton, Devon, to Mr. Franklin Clark, Peninsula Hotel, Salisbury Road, Tsim Sha Tsui, Kowloon, Hong Kong, Campsite, 1935, January 1st. I wish you with all my heart a happy year 1935. Writing my greeting cards, I have affectionate thoughts for you. Always smiling as a child, sailing to distant countries and bringing back to us trunks full of wonder. At home, everything annoys me, starting with this young Thora Sir Carmichael is so fond of. I have nobody to share my feelings with, so I write to you. How can I tell you what happens to me? The simplest way the better. I am doomed. I still have 1 year to live, no more. How do I know? I opened the secret drawer of Carmichael and read a letter not addressed to me. In this letter, Dr. Logan tells my husband in the most direct way the truth he conceals from me. Sir, I know, but my husband doesn't know I know. Please don't tell him. And if he shares the truth with you, act as you were surprised. Carl will probably speak in his usual convoluted way, but I wanted to be the first to announce it to you. It does matter to me that you are aware of what happens in Campside. Warm regards, Charlotte. Miss Thora Gray, Campside, Churchton, Devon. Arsenic trioxide thallium. The Black Dragon's Curse. To Franklin, who will never grow up. January 25, 1928. Car Charlotte. Where is the horrible smell of carrion coming from?
John. Ah, lascia come era. Va bene. Buonanotte, ciao.
Something makes me feel Tut-tut. The gardener does not follow the alignment. There, that's better. It is symmetrical. Brown pellets. Revolting. Brown pellets. There, that's better. It is symmetrical. It was probably the gardener who lit this fire. Look here. I wonder if someone wanted to get rid of these papers. This object will probably be useful to me. Let us now try and get our brain cells to work. This fountain makes a very relaxing sound. This wisteria is in full bloom. I would like to congratulate Clark's gardener. What symmetry! May you have peace, Carmichael. Charlotte. Everything that Thorgray has left behind comes from Sir Carmichael's collection. He most probably gave them to her, but she chose to leave them here rather than run the risk of being accused of theft. It is understandable when you know just how much Lady Clark mistrusted her. Let us now try and get our brain cells to work. Thorgray had no reason to kill someone who only had few months left to live. The poison she ordered was for rats. The gardener must have made good use of it, considering the stinking remains on the path, not far from the property. I've finished here. I must put the skeleton key back and inform Hastings that I'm returning to London. Perfect. Nothing else is keeping me here. If someone has tried to get rid of these documents, they may be important. Hello, Hastings? I have finished in Charleston. I will take the first train. Tell me, do you know how to restore writing on a burned document?
Yes, you just have to soak a cloth with a hydrochloric acid solution and rub the sheet of paper. Then the characters appear.
Bien. You have been of great assistance, Hastings. Could you please order the solution as soon as possible?
Of course, but what documents do you want to read?
You will see, my friend. À ce soir.
Donald Fraser is here. He insisted on waiting to see you.
Daily Blag, August 31, 1935. Moustache at half-mast. Poirot's repeated failure in ABC case. Sometimes small things troubled great men. Hastings, faithful collaborator of the Belgian detective, knows something about it. 3 mornings in a row, he confided to us, the cook broke the egg yolks when preparing Poirot's breakfast. This apparently casual event has greatly disturbed my friend, to the point it breaks his concentration and slows his judgment. I also noticed his moustache, of which he is so proud, being duller than usual.
Poirot, I assure you I haven't said any such thing to the journalists. They twist everything.
Royal Mathematical and Statistical Society's Bulletin, September the 9th, 1935. The Alphabet Murder, a methodical madman. It's highly probable that the alphabet murderer will kill again. Could we possibly estimate the number of victims in his next crime? Yes, and it is easy. As soon as we know the ratio of towns, cities and villages whose names begin with a D and the ratio of English people whose names are spelled the same. On the one hand, the ratio of towns, cities and villages in England with a name starting with D, and on the other hand, the ratio of English people with a name also starting with D. After this initial calculation, it is easy to deduce the likelihood of actually being murdered if you belong to the target population. Go to the last page to find our results and details on the calculations. Ah, some cool air. Mon ami, it is a pleasure to be working with you again. I have missed you this past few years. This man is tired. Donald is short of sleep, and it looks as if he didn't even bother to undress before going to bed. This bottle is for our visitors. Personally, I prefer the sherry.
Mr. Poirot, I don't know why I'm here.
You wanted to talk, and you came to find the only man capable of hearing you.
Mr. Poirot, since Betty's death, I've doubts about myself. I don't know what to do. And I keep having a horrible dream 3 nights in a row.
Have a drink, and tell me about this dream.
It's always the same. I'm on the beach with Betty. I grab her round the throat, and I squeeze, and squeeze until she's dead. Her head falls back, and I see that it's no longer Betty. It's Megan's face.
Have you seen Megan Barnard recently?
Yes, our grief has brought us together. I never really knew her before. She's really quite a remarkable girl. But I would never tell her about my dream.
Why not? Is it her you are attacking in your dream?
No, it's Betty. And once Betty is dead, it's Megan's face that appears in its place.
Very interesting. Let us now try and get our brain cells to work. Mr. Fraser, I think that the real meaning of this dream is that you are in love with Megan Barnard.
Please go on. Do.
This dream certainly betrays your guilt.
Oh,
But what do you feel guilty about? Having killed your fiancé? Possible. Or forgetting her very quickly for her sister? Certainly. And this forgetting is perceived as a second death.
so you don't really think I was the one who killed Betty?
I do not exclude this theory. I am simply saying that I do not need to know that fact to explain your dream and your guilt.
Thank you for being frank, Mr. Poirot. You've helped me a great deal. I'm going back to Bexhill. I'll not take any more of your time up.
It is late, Mr. Fraser, and you are tired.
I'll sleep on the train. I like trains. It's easy to sleep rocked by the sound of the wheels.
Poor boy, he seems completely lost.
Well, women seem to like him. I think Megan will take care of him. Oh, I remember. Did you order the product I needed?
Yes, we'll be receiving it tomorrow.
Bien, it is late, and I asked Miss Gray to come tomorrow morning. I have a few questions I wish to ask her. Mademoiselle, I asked you here in order to answer a very important question. Am I right in thinking you said that you did not speak to anyone on the day Sir Carmichael was murdered?
It's the absolute truth.
Yet, Lady Clark maintained that she saw you talking to a stranger on the front doorstep.
Really? She must have been mistaken. Oh, I remember now. I'd forgotten all about it, but it wasn't important. It was just a salesman. One of those traders who sell stockings from door to door.
Can you describe him to me?
Medium size? Glasses? Dark suit and a felt hat? Not the sort of man you notice. Completely harmless. That's why I forgot all about him.
Nothing else?
He was very hesitant and shy. Usually door-to-door salesmen are very confident, but he wasn't.
You did not leave Churstone willingly, I believe.
I don't wish to lie. Lady Clark did not appreciate my presence. And Franklin could not go against the wishes of a sick lady. He is a good man, and he worries a great deal about his sister-in-law.
I noticed that you left some personal belongings behind at Churstone. Are you planning on going back to collect them?
No. I prefer not to carry the weight of the past.
Bien. I must ask you one last question. Please reply frankly with either yes or no. If Lady Clark had died, would you have agreed to marry Sir Carmichael if he'd asked you?
How dare you ask such a question? Sir Carmichael treated me just like his daughter. And all that I ever felt him was affection and gratitude, nothing else.
Thank you, mademoiselle. I will not keep you any longer.
I met Thora Grey on the stairs. Her cheeks were ablaze, and she appeared to be deeply hurt. Poirot, have you offended the poor girl again? Do you have good reasons for accusing her?
I accused her of nothing, Hastings. I simply asked her an important question she did not answer. Let us see if we can answer it for her. Let us now try and get our brain cells to work. You must know how to read between the lines, Hastings. When Sir Carmichael refers to paternal affection, he is lying to himself. Read this engraving on the brooch. A dark dragon for an angel with glossy hair. These are the words of a lover, not a father. Lady Clark was not wrong.
What if Sir Carmichael had fallen in love with his secretary? That doesn't mean that she forced him to do so.
True, there are extenuating circumstances. She is a penniless orphan. But she is calculating. Just look how she avoided it when asked if she would have married Clark.
I see. You think she seduced Sir Carmichael for her own gain, and that now she is doing the same with his brother. Poirot, your world is a very dark place.
Do not get carried away, mon ami. We have another more important matter to settle.
Really?
Yes, would you believe that Miss Grey taught me something new? Let us now try and get our brain cells to work. It's perfectly clear, Hastings, perfectly clear. Indeed, a stocking seller visited Andover, Bexhill, and Churston on the day of each murder. We have our suspect. This should be of interest to Jap. Chief Inspector, we are looking for a stocking salesman.
I see you have a suspect.
Yes. Contact all the stocking wholesalers who may employ him.
Your suspect is a salesman?
No, he does not take orders. He sells door to door.
Right. The hunt is on.
Are you leaving, Mr. Cust?
Yes, I'm going to Cheltenham.
You shouldn't travel today. You don't look very well.
I have to. I have engagements. I must respect them.
Can you get the post, Hastings?
And why don't you go and get it yourself?
Très bien. What's going on? I've never known Hastings to be so disagreeable.
Are you collecting the post, Poirot?
It is not the right time. Poor Mr. Poirot. I'm quite sorry for you. If at first you don't succeed, try again. We've a long way to go still. Typery? No, that comes later. Letter T. The next little incident will take place in Doncaster on September 11th. So long. ABC. I should compare this letter with the one on my desk which I received earlier to see if it does indeed come from the same person. Let us examine this more closely. Certain characters in the two letters may have similar... Yes, the A... That's right. The A characters in the two letters do indeed have the same defects. I have to find some other similar defects to confirm my theory. Yes, this I is weird. Yes, the I characters in the two letters do indeed have the same defects. I have to find some other similar defects to confirm my theory. The W is not printed properly. Of course, the W characters in the two letters do indeed have the same defects. My theory was right. These two letters were written with the same typewriter. Hastings, he strikes tomorrow. Chief Inspector Japp?
He's on another line. Can I take a message?
Yes, please, mademoiselle. It is from Hercule Poirot. Tell him ABC strikes tomorrow in Doncaster. He must call me back.
Very well, sir.
Bien, now I'm going to see what I can find from these burnt documents. I've received the product I need. Hastings, if you do not mind, I would like you to take a few notes.
Yes, yes. So, how are you getting on? I'm ready to take notes.
Hastings' photo album. Churston, Devon.
Dove devo fare sto lavoro?
Now, down to work. One of these needs putting in order a little. This does not look too difficult. This page is finished. That's done. 3 more to go. This does not look too difficult. This page is finished. And that's 2 done. It's easier than I thought. This page is finished. Only 1 more. Keep going. This piece should be placed here. This page is finished. All the pages are reconstructed. A dry cloth. The cloth is now soaked with solvent. Got it! Make a note, Hastings, make a note. Mrs. Alice Asher, shop owner in Andover. Tracheitis, hemoptysis, prescribed laudanum.
I got it. Look. Poirot, where on earth did you find these files?
On a fire at the bottom of the garden at Comside.
All right, but where did the person who burned them find them?
Alice Asher, shopkeeper in Andover. Tracheitis, hemoptysis, chronic cough with loss of blood, prescribed laudanum-based cough medicine. Betty Barnard, waitress in Bexhill. Chronic bronchitis causing dysphonia. Advised to stop smoking. Alexander Bonaparte Cust. While wounded, mustard gas and head trauma. Pulmonary emphysema. Hemoptysis. Coughing fits with blood. Suffers from absences and amnesia. Dick Dudley Dunbar, owner of the Black Swan Hotel in Doncaster. Asthmatic, heart disease, heart condition. Let us now try and get our brain cells to work. The burned documents come from Clark's archives. First of all, because all the patients have throat conditions. And secondly, their name starts with either A, B, C, or D, and it is precisely the files that match these letters that have been tampered with.
But why burn these files? How come the names of the 2 victims appear on them? And who are the 2 other patients?
These are very good questions.
Hello, Poirot?
Any news, Chief Inspector?
You wanted a stocking seller? We have one. Reported by his landlady, who thought he was behaving suspiciously. He has the most unbelievable name.
Alexander Bonaparte Cust.
Yes, Alexander Bonaparte Cust? How did you guess? Poirot, you have magical powers. It's a serious lead. I called Doncaster. A person matching Cust's description has been seen at the station. He got off the train from London, but after that, nobody knows where he went.
Look for him at the Black Swan Hotel.
What? How do you know he's there?
Trust me, Chief Inspector.
You appear to be very sure of yourself. Very well. I'll call the Black Swan straight away. The owner is going to get a shock when he learns that there's a murderer under his roof.
Aspetta.
Chief Inspector, I would rather call myself.
As you wish. Please go ahead.
Hello, the Black Swan. Hercule Poirot here. May I speak to the owner?
Speaking. Dick Dudley Dunbar. How can I help you?
Is there Mr. Cust among your guests?
He arrived today. Shall I call him for you?
No, it is you I wish to speak with.
But who is this Cust?
Have you heard about the ABC case?
Oh, yes. I must say I'm not all that reassured. What with my name starting with D and all that.
You're in danger. Beware of your guest.
Do you think that Cust might be dangerous? Oh, I do hope you're wrong. He seems so harmless, you know. Oh, yes, completely harmless.
We must not overestimate the danger. After all, we are not absolutely sure he is guilty.
What should I do?
Overpower him.
With my bad heart? I can't take the risk.
Of course. Well, just keep an eye on him then. If he leaves the hotel, watch where he is heading. I'll call the police in Doncaster immediately. When they arrive, keep out of the way.
Oh, indeed. I shall keep out of the way. I have a bad heart, you see, and a big shot could kill me. Thank you for having warned me.
Hello, Poirot. We have some good news. The police in Doncaster have caught our man at the Black Swan Hotel. They're sending him here by train. While we're waiting to question Cust, we could search his room in London. Marbury Guest House?
I'll see you there.
Yes, but start without me. First of all, I have to sort out a few details for Cust's transfer.
I understand. À bientôt. Hastings, we are making good progress. Please go inside your room of our #1 suspect.
With pleasure. I did have a dentist appointment, but I'll cancel.
The dentist. So that is why you are so nervous and bad-tempered.
A visit to the dentist is never an enjoyable prospect.
But an unavoidable one. Go to your appointment, Hastings. I will manage on my own. To Marbury Guest House, please. Marbury. There is a very pretty village by this name, in Cheshire. I've been going past this modest guest house for so long. I would never have thought that the ABC case would lead me here.
facciamo così. Update.
It is a very beautiful piano. Maybe Mrs. Marbury likes to play in her free time. It looks like I've found the real master of this house. There is no need to worry about the household cat. I'm sure that Mrs. Marbury lets it do what it pleases.
How do you do? You must be Mr. Hercule Poirot. Chief Inspector Japp told me that you might be coming.
Madame, you may be of valuable help to me.
It would be my pleasure to help you. Will there be some journalists there as well?
I think you might even be interviewed. You are key witness.
I've suspected him for some time, but he appeared so harmless. Oh yes, sometimes he got angry and waved his arms about. But even then, he wasn't frightening. And he was as gentle as a lamb again immediately afterwards. It was only this morning that I understood. He told me he was going to Cheltenham, but my daughter saw him at Euston Station. It's not the right station. To get to Cheltenham, you have to take the train from Paddington. And what's more, Mr. Cuss left behind an ABC with Doncaster underlined. As you can imagine, when I saw that, I called Scotland Yard.
One moment, please. How did you know that Cuss had underlined Doncaster in his railway guide?
I went and had a look in his room.
I see. Do you make a habit of searching through your lodger's belongings?
Well, what are you going to do later? I bet you're going to poke around his room too.
Tell me, did you have any other reason to suspect Mr. Cuss?
He's rather queer. He talks to himself. He has a bad cough. Because of the war, he says. And then he was in Churston when that millionaire got murdered. I found his train ticket when I washed his coat. He didn't want me to wash his shirt. He washed it himself. But I did see big brown stains on it.
Where were the stains on the shirt?
Can't recall.
Cuss used to travel for his work. Is that correct?
Yes, although he was unwell on trains.
Do you know where Cuss was at the time of the murder in Andover and Bexhill? on June the 21st and July the 25th.
No idea.
But surely you keep a register.
It won't do you much good. Mr. Cuss rents his room for the year. If he goes away for a few days, I have no reason to make a note of it. Ah! I remember one thing. Bexar's by the sea, right?
Indeed, it is a large seaside resort.
Well, as it happens, at the start of July, Mr. Cast asked me to repair his bathing dress. Suspicious, huh?
Very interesting. Please continue.
I also forgot to say that he started buying newspapers that talked about the case.
When did he start buying the newspapers?
Let's see. I think it was just after the millionaire's murder in Churchton. He didn't seem all that interested before that.
That will be all for now. I'm going to take a look at his room.
Take the key on the counter.
This woman appears to be in a bad mood. Mrs. Marbury is taking out her bad mood on the evening meal's potato.
Right. Is that all? When are you leaving? I don't think my register will help you. Mr. Cuss rents his room all...
The truth is becoming apparent, and I have something to say to Mrs. Marbury. I have something to say to Mrs. Marbury. This key bears the number 306. Mrs. Marbury, if I am to believe the register, you rented room 306 to a certain Mr. Fishman on the day of the Bexhill murder? Room 306 is Cust's room. Can you explain yourself?
If I did, it was because Mr. Cust wasn't here. What about it?
It doesn't matter, provided that you remember to change the sheets.
Of course I changed them. I keep a nice, clean establishment. I'll have you know.
Trousers, white shirts. Everything has been washed very well. The Bexhill Daily paper, dated from the day of the Bexhill murder. Most probably the bathing dress repaired by Mrs. Marbury's expert hands. All the main articles referring to the ABC case are here, from the Churchton murder onwards. Nothing before that date. ABC guys, enough to sign about a dozen murders. It's closed. ABC guys. It's closed.
Aprilo.
Diethyl barbituric acid, Johnson Company. I know this medicine. It is a powerful sedative. This subject would probably be useful to me.
Oh,
Laudanum Cameron's Chemists. Laudanum, a medicine for coughs. It is what Dr. Clark prescribed for Mrs. Asher. This subject would probably be useful to me. This dark stain. It could be blood, but goodness knows how long it has been there. How hopeful. This place is a real mess. The least we can say that Mr. Cust is not very concerned about order and balance. War of 1914-1918. By the King's order, the name of Corporal A.B. Cust, Devonshire Regiment, was published on the London Gazette on May the 10th, 1918, as mentioned in a dispatch for gallant and distinguished service. An army dispatch, wounded on the Somme front, victim of a gas attack. Corporal Cust greatly deserves his distinction. Cust is parsimonious. He keeps his pencils and sharpens them until there is nothing left. It is clear that he did not grow up in luxury. Did Cust drop it when he opened the window? Or was it Mrs. Marbury while she was cleaning? John Milligan, Managing Director, Silky Legs, Frederick Street, Leicester. To A.B. Cust, Marbury's Guest House, 1935, May the 21st. Dear Sir, further to our letters dated 5th and 10th of the month, we confirm we are you as door-to-door salesman, according to the conditions stated in our previous letters. We will send you the articles by mail and also a Redfield typewriter you will be using for every business letter. Regarding the schedule of your rounds, please do as following. June 21, Andover. Arrive by train the 20th in the evening and get a room at Station Hotel. Start your turn in the north part of the town. This letter establishes that Cust went to Andover, but the ink has hidden the destinations of his other trips. I know from Mrs. Marbury that he went to Churston. I just have to show that he went to Bexhill, and I will have proved that he was present at all the crime scenes. It's an ABC. A long-bladed knife. A murderer's weapon. This subject would probably be useful to me. I have to get the ribbon. How am I going to do it? Something is blocking the ribbon. The left-hand heel has been removed. The right-hand heel has been removed. And here is the ribbon. Let us see if it was indeed used to write the letters sent by ABC. I only need the ink ribbon for my inquiry. I will let Jack clean the keyboard if he wishes. All the letters announcing the murders were written on Cust's typewriter. This knife is very useful. Who knows, maybe it never cut anything other than string. Stockings. Let us now try and get our brain cells to work. The register shows that Cust did not sleep at the guest house on the day of the murder. Where was he? Bexhill. The Bexhill paper reveals it. Cust bought this newspaper in Bexhill on July the 25th. No use continuing the inspection of this room. I've seen all there is to see. Goodbye, Mrs. Marbury. Thank you for your help.
I look forward to seeing you again, Mr. Poirot.
Ah, Chief Inspector. I was about to leave.
Good evening, Chief Inspector. Welcome. Please excuse me, I must go to the kitchen. I'll leave the key of Mr. Cust on the counter.
I'm sorry I'm late. I've spent ages with the Doncaster police. And you?
I have established one fact. On 3 occasions, Cust was at the scene on the day of the crimes. I had best talk to Jap.
I've listened closely to what you have to say, Poirot. For me, there's no doubt Cust is guilty. Do you have any element that might prove the contrary?
That is what we're going to look for. Let us now try and get our brain cells to work.
The evidence against Cust is overwhelming. His presence at the scenes, the knife, the blood-stained shirt, the ABCs in a box.
C'est vrai. However, The blood Mrs. Marbury saw on Cust's shirt may have been his own. According to his medical records, he suffers from hemoptysis. The murderer cut Sir Carmichael's throat from behind, and the blood spurted outwards. You would expect the murderer's shirt to be stained on the sleeves, not on the buttonholes, yet we see quite the opposite. You would expect the murderer to keep the newspaper articles about his crimes. But Cust's collection starts in Chuston, as if it discovered the case rather late.
I agree it's troubling, but it doesn't change my mind. There's small details that we should be able to clear up by questioning Cust.
When can we talk to him?
Doncaster is sending him to us on the first train.
Are they questioning him already?
He says he can't remember a thing.
It's plausible. Doctors say he suffers from absences and amnesia. Mrs. Marbury has confirmed this.
He may have done the murders in an altered state.
A familiar situation.
It's not enough to clear his name. Dr. Thompson insisted that even if you don't know what you're doing, you never commit a murder without wanting to.
Très intéressant. I shall remember that.
Right. I'll go and examine the suspect's room.
Chief Inspector, I took the liberty of removing a few clues to examinatum.
All right, we'll discuss them tomorrow. In the meantime, I'm going to see if you've missed something.
To Scotland Yard, please. This man is not in good shape. He is worried and very tired, and other police have been hurt.
What do you want from me?
Good day, Mr. Cust. I am Hercule Poirot.
Ah, you're the detective.
Yes, I am the person you have been sending the letters to.
I didn't write these letters. I've already said so.
Maybe you forgot that you wrote these letters.
Yes, it's true. Sometimes I forget. Maybe I did type them.
Are you capable of murder, Mr. Cust?
All these questions are giving me a headache.
You suffered during the war.
It's true. I was wounded. I suffered. but the army was the only place I didn't feel inferior. No questions, just orders to follow.
But ever since you were wounded, you have absences, bouts of amnesia.
And headaches.
Professor Clark treated you.
Yes, a few years ago he really helped me with my burned throat.
Of course, you never considered killing a doctor who took such good care of you.
No, no, never.
You were seen at all the crime scenes.
Yes, I was. I travel a lot, but not for pleasure. I am terribly unwell in trains. But I had to respect my engagements. My employer gave me very precise written instructions about the towns I had to visit.
Let's see. The company you claim to work for, Silky Legs, has never heard of you. And as for these letters they sent you, they were written on your own typewriter.
The company sent me the typewriter when I started working for them.
Yes, but the letters were received afterwards. It proves that you wrote them.
I may have. Good God! I don't know what's happening to me. My head hurts terribly.
Take this. It will help you.
Oh, I think I'll be fine.
Let us see, Cust. Look at me. You know very well that you committed these murders?
Yes, I know.
But I'm not wrong in saying that you do not know why you committed them.
No, I don't.
Let us leave Cust alone. He's at the end of his tether.
And what conclusions have you drawn?
Plenty. It might help us to understand him a little better. Let us now try and get our brain cells to work.
I don't see any clearer than before. This is worse.
There is one point, Twilight. C'est curieux. Cust admits that he killed, but he does not know why. What did Dr. Thompson say? Even if Cust killed while in an altered state, it still must have been his deepest desire. He must have had a motive.
Let's keep it simple. Never mind his motive. He confessed.
But you see, he can confess to anything and everything. He denied the murders and then confessed to them. He confirmed that he never typed the letters. Then, with great ease, I managed to get him say quite the opposite.
Come on, he behaved like a guilty man. He lied to his landlady.
Because deep down he believes himself guilty. From the papers, he noticed that he had always been at the scene of the crimes. He must think that he killed and then simply forgot what he had done.
How can you be so sure?
Let us look at his psychological profile. You will understand my point of view. Let us now try and get our brain cells to work.
Brutto. Forza che senza fascia.
You see? Cust's character is quite the opposite of the murderer's.
But if he's a madman, can we really talk about his character?
You know very well that our murderer does not behave like a psychopath. Apart from the signature, there is no ritual or repetition in the choice of victims.
Very well, you're right as always. So we have no confession, no culprit, no suspects, nothing. And all that after 2 months of inquiry? What should I do?
Have faith. Just give me 24 hours. To White Haven, please.
Cust's arrest is a great success for you, Poirot. It's all clear now, except maybe 1 or 2 details.
Details. Ah, mon ami. The devil is in the detail, as we say.
Excuse me?
Patience, Hastings. Everything will be clear once our guests arrive. Best be prepared. Slip a revolver into your pocket before they do.
A revolver? But Poirot, What are you afraid of?
Trust me. It is important you carry a weapon for this meeting. I will lend you mine.
What about telling me what you have in mind?
Surtout pas. You wouldn't be able to play your role. Wait one moment, I will bring you my weapon. Churston, Devon...
Sempre le stesse cose.
Hastings, photo...
What about telling...
Surtout pas. The Lancet, September 11th, 1935. General Medical Journal. Our assertion has just been confirmed by Professor Thompson, a Scotland Yard expert. But his amnesia, whether real or pretended, does not alter the... Daily Flicker, September the 11th. A.B. Cost is the name of the alphabet murderer. The police have arrested him in a hotel in Doncaster. Ah. It is now the right time. The white ammunition are blank cartridges.
Aspetta un secondo. Va bene.
The white ammunition are blank cartridges. The others are real bullets. I have to choose the type of bullets to load. The revolver is loaded with real bullets. I still have time to choose blanks. The revolver is loaded with blanks. I still have time to choose real bullets.
What about telling me what you have in mind?
Surtout pas. You will... Voila, I entrust you with my weapon. It has hardly been used. It is almost new.
You're not answering.
Chief Inspector, is that you?
Yes. Sorry, but we haven't found anything.
Have you checked the typewriter?
And the packaging, the letter, and the ribbon reel. We've only found prints left by Cust and his landlady.
Well, never mind, I shall make do.
So, are you still going to hold your meeting?
Of course, Chief Inspector. I can hear my guest coming up the stairs.
Why have you brought us here, Mr. Poirot?
Since Cust's arrest, I thought it was all done and dusted. Miss Grey formally identified him, as well as Miss Barnard.
Yes, and the stockings he saw drove the same brand as the ones found at my aunt's.
This is all true. However, a case is not closed if some questions remain open. And one question is, why did the murderer send me his letters? Why did he challenge me, Hercule Poirot?
Perhaps he wanted to play with you, to taunt you.
Xenophobia? Maybe he didn't like you because you're foreign.
I may be wrong, but maybe by provoking you, he was looking for glory?
All these theories should be studied. Let us now try and get our brain cells to work.
Perché no? Scusa. Metà della lettera. Ok.
Is everything clear now?
You might like to explain your reasoning again.
Of course. First of all, remember that the murderer made it a rule to always post his letter before the murder. He never digressed from that rule. However, in Churston, he encountered a problem. The village has only 500 inhabitants. With advance warning, it would be easy to arrest him. Therefore, the murderer delayed his letters deliberately with the wrong address. The plan wouldn't have worked if he'd sent it to Scotland Yard or the papers because everybody knows their addresses. The mistake would have been corrected and the letter would have been on time. That is why the murderer chose me as the recipient.
Because for his plan to succeed, it was necessary for at least one of the letters to have a wrong address and get lost. It was very cunning.
Absolument. It is a very subtle plan. It matches the profile we have drawn up of him perfectly. That of an intelligent, daring and calculating murderer.
But that's not how you describe Cust.
You are quite right, mademoiselle. Like you, I find it hard to believe that this dull character is the clever murderer we are looking for.
Do madmen... I mean, if he's mad, He might have two very different sides.
No doubt. But the murderer is not mad. All the specialists agree that he does not have the profile of a psychopath.
But if Cust is not guilty, how do you explain his presence at the scene of the crimes?
Mr. Clark, the answer to your question is in the medical records of your brother's patients. Documents which Cust most certainly did not have access to. Let us now try and get our brain cells to work. Dr. Clark's patients' records provided a very useful list of potential victims, sorted by alphabetical order. The killer definitely used it, explaining the fact that all the victims were former patients of the doctor. It is this fact that clears Cust once and for all, because he never had access to these records. So how did he happen to be at the scene of the crimes? Either the murderer sent him there, or Cust was following him closely. Cust's highly suggestible nature leads us to the second hypothesis. The murderer was manipulating him. He systematically sent Cust to the towns where he was going to
Vedere che è il
strike,
fidanzato.
so that the suspicion would land on the poor man's shoulder.
That's evil. What sort of killer could have such a plan? And what would he gain from three completely different murders?
Indeed, it seems unlikely that the same murderer committed all the crimes. What should we take from that? Just one murder was of benefit to the murderer. The others were just diversions. On reflection, there is only one conclusion. The murderer killed once out of interest and twice to divert our attention. This reasoning points at two potential culprits.
Franklin Clark.
Donald Fraser?
Yes, mademoiselle, that's good thinking. Mr. Fraser may have killed Betty out of jealousy. Mr. Clark may have killed his brother in order to inherit his large fortune. Both have a motive.
But Donald did not have access to Dr. Clark's records.
Please allow me to disagree with you, mademoiselle. Donald, too, has been treated by the doctor.
You're quite wrong, Mr. Poirot, and it shouldn't be difficult to prove.
Oui, please excuse me. It was a slip of the tongue. This is what I wanted to say. Donald, Sir Carmichael was one of your firm's customers. We found a surveyor's report among his papers that proves it.
It doesn't prove that I went to Comeside.
You could have done it. And you may have used the opportunity to take a look at Sir Carmichael's records.
You think I'm guilty?
You or Mr. Franklin Clark.
That's ridiculous.
Both of you have a motive. The question is, which of you has the profile that most resembles the murderer? Let us now try and get our brain cells to work. Ladies and gentlemen, Donald may share many character traits with the murderer, but he does not have his cold indifference. He has a temper. It is hard to imagine him planning anything. Also, jealousy is his motive, and crimes of passion are rarely planned.
Right, I suppose it's my turn to be subjected to the same scrutiny.
Absolument, Mr. Clark. Let us now try and get our brain cells to work.
Quindi questo, Franklin, allora.
As you have all seen, there is a disturbing similarity between Mr. Clark's profile and that of the killer. In actual fact, it is exactly the same.
Mr. Poirot, your psychological studies are interesting, but your conclusions do not add up. Why would I have wished my brother's death? The inheritance is lawfully mine. I just have to wait.
No, you had to act quickly. because you are incapable of waiting.
Really? Well, I am no murderer. You presented him as being a cold and patient schemer.
Certes, normalement. But Lady Clark's imminent death precipitated events. Mademoiselle, although you haven't been telling the truth, there is no doubt in my mind that you would have found a way to marry Sir Carmichael after Lady Clark's death. For you, Mr. Clark, it was a disaster. If Miss Grey had children by your brother, you would not have inherited a thing. You realized the danger after reading several letters from Comside, especially one in which your brother opened his heart to you. So you hurried home from China, and you took action. In truth, Cust was no more than a puppet manipulated by the real culprit. You, Mr. Clark.
Such an imagination, Mr. Poirot. In fact, nobody manipulated Cust. The famous instructions he received by post. He wrote them on the typewriter. We know that for sure.
Oh no, you know perfectly well. That is not true. Eh bien voilà, light has now been shed on the ABC murders.
Your theories are ingenious, but you haven't any proof.
One point to him. For the moment, I have no material proof. Either I admit to it, or I bluff. One thing proves it. The prints you left on Cust's typewriter.
Enough.
Oh, of course you wiped the typewriter before sending it. But not carefully enough. Scotland Yard has found your print along with those of Cust.
I understand why you never wanted to lend me your new typewriter, and why you were searching through your brother's things. And the hole you dug on the moors. What did you hide there? The knife you used to kill your brother?
Game, set, match. You win, Mr. Poirot. But it was worth trying. Don't come near me! I'll never let you take me, Mr. Poirot!
I'm sorry, Mr. Clark, there is no easy death for you. I expected your reaction, so I used blanks. I'm sorry, mademoiselle, but your second chance has been lost. Franklin Clark will never inherit his brother's fortune.
Disappointed at having missed the chance to become Lady Clark, Thora Grey left England. Donald Fraser and Megan Barnard married. On Poirot's recommendation, Mary Drower started to work for Lady Clark. The elderly lady's condition suddenly took a turn for the better. And a few months later, to Dr. Logan's great surprise, she was back on her feet again. According to this eminent physician, it appears to be an extremely rare case of spontaneous remission. Lady Clark has enjoyed very good health ever since. Journal of an Innocent, the incredible story of ABC. As for A.B. Cust, after being advised by Poirot, he made a great deal of money by selling his story to the press. And as for me, and with business booming, the Black Swan has become the #1 tourist attraction in the whole of Yorkshire, even more popular than York Minster.
the killer enters the shop. Mrs. Asher turns around to greet a customer. The murderer asks her for some tobacco. She turns her back to him. He seizes the opportunity to strike her. He then places the ABC upside down before leaving. Everything appears to match the crime scene, mon cher Hastings. That is exactly what happened.
Che palle. Perfetto, quindi manca un secondo giro per prendere tutto. Allora, posso cominciare e poi finire domani sera. Va bene, il gioco è carino, ma niente di che proprio. Allora, mi manca l'altro, ok. palle, però adesso lo devo rifare tutto. Ok, ma rifacciamolo. Quindi questo qui, vabbè, lasciamolo per il momento. Facciamo segnalibri, aggiungi, poi Agatha Christie, Morris, manca questo qui. Sì. Ok. Va bene, ricominciamo.
Some post for you, Poirot.
Mr. Hercule Poirot, you fancy yourself, don't you, at solving mysteries that are too difficult for our poor thick-head British police? Let us see, Mr. Clever Poirot, just how clever you can be. Perhaps you'll find this nut too hard to crack. Look out for Andover on the 21st of the month. Yours extra, A, B, C.
Ah, it's some sort of joke.
Maybe. But please remind me to inform Chief Inspector Japp.
Champion Bress.
Don't dilly-dally, Poirot.
Over it. The victim is called Alice Asher. She owned this tobacco shop. She was killed yesterday with a blow to the back of the head.
Dove cazzo sta?
Is Japp being too relaxed? Let us find the clues that prove it. Japp is in a good mood. I bet he thinks he's already caught the culprit.
The last customer to see Mrs. Asher alive left her shop at 5:30. The body was found at around 11 in the evening by an officer doing his rounds. The shop door was open. That's what alerted him.
Had anything been taken?
A little tobacco maybe, but you'd hardly murder for a few smokes. There's nothing of any real value in the shop.
What type of woman was Mrs. Asher?
Aha, Franz Asher, the husband. Alcoholic and violent. It's said that he regularly insulted his wife and threatened to kill her.
Do you think is...
We'll...
is fruit and The place is... Nothing suggests any sign of a fight. It's not just any railway. It's open at the letter. There are no prints on the book. Red liquid is oozing out. No, it's just some... The counter is covered. The till does not appear to have... Ah, a mechanism has just made a fan click. The till is full of money. Something is in it. This must be the key. There are cigarette packets in a... She has a packet. This poor woman. She just has one wound.
Of course, my friend, I'll do it straight away.
I can't see any other... The door is locked. Blood. Did Alice... An inscription in German. The ashes were a lovely... This interior is very simple. Mrs. Asher lived very simply. What a strange box. It looked...
Aspetta un secondo. È una cosa prima. Due coglioni.
Such a pretty decoration should be at the center of the motif to respect the symmetry. The wooden flower is The wooden flower is preventing the sun. I heard a faint sound. It is blocked. It is blocked.
Uccellino verso l'alto. Anche questo verso l'alto. Sinistro in basso. Testa in giù.
Medicine. Laudanum base. It's strange to find. From Mr. Despite Mrs. Asher's meager. What a strange box. It looks like you have to slide the slats of wood to open it. It is blocked. This button appears to... it is blocked. That should do it. A necklace of bright blue stones. Who is this young... To my dear Aunt...
Have you?
Let us now try and get our brain cells to work. The motive is that I think I've...
£4 a lettuce, a lovely large lettuce, 4 pence only.
This woman appears to be a smoker. She's a big smoker. She must have been a customer at the tobacco shop. How much are your lettuce, please?
A lettuce? That'll be 5 pence, kind sir.
And what if I take 2?
Well, 2 are 10 pence, so what do you want?
Nothing, thank you. They do not look very fresh. Did you know Alice Asher well?
And for starters, who are you?
I'm Hercule Poirot, the detective.
You're foreign, that's for sure, with your accent and your odd way about you. And you're here about Alice's murder, I suppose. Well, I've nothing to say to you.
Did you speak to the victim yesterday?
No, I never saw her.
I do not quite understand. You work next door to each other, but you do not see each other?
It's true. I didn't see her all day.
I know that Alice Asher bought strawberries from you yesterday.
Well, you know more than I do, then. Run along now. I have work to do.
A bottle of poor quality vinegar. The smell could awaken the dead.
Hey, Poirot. Is the green...
No, please. Let us now try and get our brain cells to work. Mrs. Asher. Jap had the body removed out of respect. Is her grief sincere? She appears to be very upset. She's dressed in mourning. She looks fragile. Stop crying, please. It is very annoying.
You don't understand. My aunt was the only family I had.
If you are her only relative, you will be the only one who inherits.
Sir, my aunt was poor. And in any case, I'm not interested in any legacy.
Yes, that is what everyone says. Hastings, please see this young lady home. I fear that it's quite impossible to finish our interview at present.
Poirot, what have you done? I've never known you be so brutal.
We have to wait for him to sleep it off. He's all yours, Poirot. There are a few things I need to check.
There must be some way of sobering him up.
I wonder what his wife used to do. He must have scared the customers away.
A box of new stockings. It's Alice Asher's notebook. Ah. Bodley. Is not... Your fruit is rotten.
What? A foreigner dares to say that?
According to the victim's account book, you owed her £10 for tobacco and magazines.
That's a lie. She owed me £1, I swear.
Now, please be so kind as to explain this.
Look at my account book. Alice owed me £11 for fruit and vegetables. I may have had a slate at her shop, but she had one at mine. She owed me £1, and that reminds me I have to get it back from her niece.
That is quite enough. Your account book has saved you, but I might ask Chief Inspector Japp to throw you in the cells for 1 or 2 nights while he checks your entries. Do you want to go to prison?
Prison? Now that's not fair. I haven't done nothing.
In that case, I am counting on your full collaboration.
Yes, sir. Of course, sir. Listen, I didn't kill Alice, I swear. But it's true that I did go to the shop yesterday.
At what time?
6 o'clock. She left me a note saying she wanted some strawberries if I got some. I received them late, about 6. So I took them over to her.
But you did not see her.
She wasn't in the shop, so I just put the strawberries on the counter and left.
Did you see anything unusual in the shop?
No. Well, maybe one thing. There was a railway guide on the counter. Alice didn't sell them. Maybe it's the customer who left it there.
You were not alarmed?
I thought Alice had just gone to get her medicine from her room and that she'd be straight back.
You mentioned medicine.
Something for her cough. She used to take it a lot.
Who do you think killed her?
France. Her scoundrel of a husband. He was always after her for something. Well, he's a foreigner. Sorry, sir. What I mean is he's German. That's even worse.
Did you see Franz Asher enter the tobacco shop late yesterday afternoon?
Well, no. But at that time of the day, the streets are packed, and I have better things to do than watch her shop.
I've just
Take it. It's what Alice used to sober up her husband. But try not to empty the bottle.
Let us now try. The priority. Mes amis, I can say without a doubt that poor Mrs. Asher was killed between 5:30 and 6.
Killed when the street was...
I've been...
No. Yeah. This man is in rather a bad state. This man has been fighting and he smells of alcohol. Care for a cigarette, monsieur?
What's that? Scented cigarettes? No, thanks.
Bien. I was trying to be friendly, but you are quite right. Let us get down to business. You threatened to kill your wife, and now she is dead.
So what? You shouldn't take things so seriously, sir. Nothing but empty threats. We didn't get on all that badly.
So, if things were going so well with your wife, why did you not live with her?
She was the one that left. Nothing to do with me, sir.
Ah, women are flighty creatures. Did she run away with another man?
Flighty? You talk funny. One thing for sure, if my wife was seeing another man, I'd have given her a good beating.
Interesting. And what were you doing yesterday at the end of the afternoon?
Can't recall.
You had been drinking again.
The occasional slap, sir, that's all.
And you cannot even remember how you ripped your coat?
I got it stuck in a door.
The truth is that someone gave you a good beating.
A beating? No way. All right, he tore my coat and gave me a black eye. You see the state of him?
Very interesting. Who is the other that you struck?
Probably best if I tell you everything. Yesterday afternoon, I met Roderick Cannon. We'd bet on a dog fight together.
An illegal bet, naturally.
Yes, sir. Our dog won. Roderick got the money, but he refused to give me my share.
And you fought about it. What time was this?
In the evening, about 6, I think. We were on the other side of town. You see, I couldn't have killed my wife.
Let us now try and get our brain cells to work. The murderer Let us now try and get... The murder...
Asher's...
One thing...
But he is not very educated. It certainly was not him who wrote the letter signed ABC. Let's resume. We know the...
I agree.
And the...
In...
But... The killer enters the shop. Mrs. Asher turns around to greet a customer. The murderer asks her for some tobacco. She turns her back to him. He seizes the opportunity to strike her. He then places the ABC upside down before leaving. Everything appears to match the crime scene, mon cher Hastings. That is exactly what happened.
No.
Well... I thought
I would go and see. Daily Flicker. Ah. It is now the right time. Andover, Hampshire. No doubt about...
You're not...
Yes, yes, of course. Dear Mr. Poirot, we're having a crazy... The next crime will be in Bexhill. We must...
Did the letter...
To be honest, I think we can already guess something about the next victim. But I need to think about it a little more. Let us examine this. Certain characters. Yes, this eye. Yes, the eye cat. I have to find some other. Yes, the A. That's right, the egg. I have to find some. The... Of course, the... My theory was right. Both letters were written. But there is... Let us now try and get our brain cells to work.
So...
Oui, I believe so. But I am afraid it is not enough to stop the murderer. Let us go and see Chief Inspector Japp. I will explain there. To Scotland Yard, please. Japp has invested a great deal in his career. Japp is an investigator greatly respected by his peers. Alice Asher. London. Japp appears to be snowed under. Japp appears to already be overloaded with work. My news is not going to improve matters. Bonjour.
Are you
I have come...
good?
The killer is mad, so he's unpredictable. We can only hope that he will commit an error.
You surprise me, Poirot. I've often heard you say that even madmen follow a certain logic.
I didn't realize you had such a good memory, Chief Inspector. Bien. We should leave you to work, Chief Inspector.
You have a few days to prepare yourself.
Thank you for coming, my friends. Poirot?
Chief Inspector Japp, your call does not bode well.
Indeed, we have just found the body of a young woman on the beach in Bexhill. An ABC was placed on the body.
We'll be there as soon as possible.
Bexhill is a delightful...
Do not be offended, Hastings. I can see Japp waiting for us. And from his face, I would say that things are not looking good.
Va bene, perfetto. Ragazzi, grazie mille. Se ci siete, ci vediamo domani per un altro gameplay di gioco. Caccia ai trofei per l'ultima parte di Agatha Christie ABC Murders. Ciao a tutti e buonanotte.